Buenas tardes. Para mí es un verdadero honor estar aquí hoy con todos vosotros y es una enorme alegría dar la bienvenida aquí en Asturias, en Oviedo, a una mujer que ha cambiado para siempre la historia del deporte. Estamos hablando de Serena Williams. Serena no solo es la mejor tenista de todos los tiempos, de toda la historia, con 23 títulos de Grand Slam, con 4 medallas olímpicas y con una carrera que ha inspirado a generaciones enteras, sino que también es un símbolo de determinación, de talento y de coraje. A lo largo de más de 2 décadas en las pistas y después fuera de ellas, nos ha enseñado que los límites están para romperse, que la fuerza nace del trabajo constante y que el verdadero éxito se mide también en la capacidad de levantarse una y otra vez. Gracias a todos los que nos acompañáis hoy aquí para celebrar este encuentro tan especial, donde el deporte, la cultura y los valores humanos se dan la mano una vez más aquí en el corazón de Asturias. Yo no voy a estar sola en esta conversación con Serena. Tengo el honor de compartir este acto tan especial con el extenista profesional y director del Mutua Madrid Open, Feliciano López. Bueno, Feliciano.
¿Qué tal, Theresa?
Muy bien. Muy contenta de tenerte aquí conmigo y que podamos compartir este maravilloso evento. ¿Qué tal estás?
Pues muy bien, muy contento de estar aquí. La verdad es que es un placer estar aquí en Oviedo otra vez, en esta ciudad tan increíble y sobre todo hoy pues pudiendo honrar el legado de Serena, que ha sido espectacular. Yo tuve la suerte de vivir en primera persona muchos de sus triunfos, de verlo un poquito más de cerca y la verdad que bueno, como miembro del jurado pues te puedes imaginar que no puedo estar más orgulloso de que haya sido galardonada ella.
Por supuesto, y además vosotros que habéis tenido la suerte de compartir el mismo deporte, la verdad es que no puedo estar más de acuerdo contigo en todas las palabras que le dedicas a Serena. Así que bueno, no vamos a hacer que el público espere más porque seguro que estáis todos deseando conocerla.
23 Grand Slams, medalla olímpica en varias ocasiones y este año Premio Princesa de Asturias de los Deportes. Le vamos a dar una calurosa bienvenida, nada menos con nosotros, Serena Williams.
Welcome to Asturias and welcome to this wonderful event. Before we begin our conversation, I'd love to share something about the people who are here with us today. In this auditorium, we have members of tennis clubs from all across Asturias, and also hundreds of students who have taken part in a wonderful educational program, which is called Toma la Palabra. It means you have the word. And it's run by the Princesa de Asturias Foundation. Now, over the past few weeks, these young people have been learning about your life. Be careful, they may know more than you by now. They've been learning about your career and also about your legacy, exploring how your story reflects values like perseverance, equality, and determination. Some of them are here tonight, sitting right in the front rows. And later on, a few of them will even join us on stage for a very special moment. So before anything else, a huge thank you to all the clubs, students, and teachers who made this conversation possible. Let's give them a great round of applause. Now, as usual, this is a tennis match. So we have to start by set 1. The first set, we're going to go over how you started in the world of tennis. So Serena, your story is completely legendary, but it started long before the trophies, in a family where belief, work, and love for the game shaped absolutely everything. You grew up in Crompton, with your family always in the center of your life. Now, what role did your family play in shaping your mindset and your love of competition?
Yes, well, thank you for having me here. This is so great to see everyone here. I wish I spoke Spanish, but I'm sorry, I don't. So my family played such a big role, such an important role in my career starting tennis. It was my whole family. There were 5 kids. I was one of the 5. We would all be on the court. I was practicing. My sister Venus was practicing as well. And all the other sisters would help in and pick up balls or help, pitch balls or feed us. And so it became a real family atmosphere. And even as I grew up and I went to play professional tennis, they always traveled with us to make sure that we stayed together and we stayed humble and we stayed having fun with each other. And more importantly, that we stayed close.
That's great. That I'm sure that you really made the best of that when you were a kid. Now we have a kid. She's called Carla, and she's from a school here in Asturias called Laería.
Which was the message that someone said to you and it has changed your sport life?
I think a long time ago, my sister told me that I needed to continue to work hard and continue on my journey. And that doesn't sound like a very motivating word, but at the time it was because I was not doing well. And I was really young. I was only like 9. And I remember these words. She told me that one day I will have my day and everything that I was seeing would be mine. And I never forgot that moment. And it also made me work hard to think that, okay, one day I will have my moment in time where I can be on a big stage and I could play my best tennis. And so whenever I was tired or whenever I didn't feel like doing it, I always remembered those words.
I have a question for you related to your sister Venus. It must have been very challenging for you to compete against someone you love, because that's one of the biggest rivalries in our sport. So how did you manage that balance between, sisterhood and competition with Venus?
Yes, playing against Venus was very, 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 very difficult. Actually, I hated it. I talk openly now about how much I hated it and how hard it was, and it just whenever I saw the draw, I would say, I don't care who I play. You put me against anybody, it doesn't matter who. I just don't want to play Venus because we grew up together and we always wanted to do our best together and be together, and to have to beat someone that you care about so much and then to turn around and play doubles with them, it just, honestly, it sucked. So, but we knew that sport was not forever and we had to fight and play our hardest no matter what. And we also knew this is what we trained for. We knew that we always trained to one day have to play each other. We just didn't know how hard it would be emotionally.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, we have another student called Zabell, who's going to ask you a question from the Oviedo Tennis Club.
What advice would you give to a girl who dreams of becoming a professional tennis player?
I think the best advice I could give is to follow your dreams. Never stop dreaming. When sometimes you might get tired, but remember your dream and it's going to be worth it. At the end of the day, some days might be harder than others, but it's so worth continuing to follow your dream because it's a lot of fun being a professional athlete, a professional tennis player. I mean, obviously a professional tennis player is the most fun, but never give up. And sometimes if there's some dark days, just keep going because there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, that's great advice. And Serena, you've shown the world that talent alone is never enough, that it's determination, family, and the will to improve that truly define a champion. And that spirit, Serena, is exactly what inspires every young person that's here in this room today. So, okay, we've finished set 1. Serena's done really well. She's beaten us all out. So now we're going to go on to set 2.
Okay, there is no set 3 though, right? Because I usually win in straight sets.
Well, we'll see about that.
I'm just kidding. You guys do look like a tough crowd, so this could be a long match.
Maybe. Okay, so the first set was about how you became a champion, right?
Yeah.
And this one is about how you used that success to lead, to inspire, and to make change beyond tennis. So you've become a symbol of what it means to grow through every stage of life. As an athlete, as a mother, and as a woman who leads by example. So now we have a question from Noemi, and she's from a school called Isla de la Deva.
What was the defeat from which you have learned the most?
Yeah, easy answer. I lost in the French Open in the first round. I'd never lost in the first round before in my life. And I panicked. I went crazy. I always go crazy on the court, but this particular time I went really crazy. And I developed a weakness that was shown in that match. And I hated losing in general. I hate losing. And when I lost in the first round, I was very upset. I was inconsolable because I actually thought I was going to win the tournament that year. But it showed me and it showed everyone in the locker room how to beat Serena. And I didn't like that. I went home and I fixed it. And then I won 4 Grand Slams in a row because I was like, that's not how you beat Serena. But it was an extremely big lesson because that kind of started the second half of my career on just being a better player, that one loss. So as much as I hated that loss, I still don't think I needed it, but it helped me become a better player.
So my second question is related to family. I'm sure, coming back to the top level must have been, after becoming a mother, must have been probably a big challenge for you.
Yeah.
Where did you find that strength? And how was competing after such a personal transformation?
Yeah. Becoming a mom was probably was the best moment in my life. My daughter's actually here. I don't know. It was very difficult for me to compete after that because I wanted to spend every moment with my daughter, Olympia. I wanted to always be with her. Every time I had to go practice, I was just like, I just didn't want to leave her. And I didn't know I would be so attached to having a kid. Like I thought my life would just continue and I would go play and I would have no problem. But it actually was very, very difficult. I made a lot of sacrifices that looking back, I didn't have to do because she doesn't remember them and she will never remember them. But I remember she was sick one time and we went to the doctor and I didn't get home until like 6 a.m. and I played first on at the French Open the next day. So I don't think I slept that night. And I don't know how I won that match, but that was difficult for me. So, I don't think I was ever able to separate being a mom and being an athlete the way some athletes are able to do. I wish I could have. But I can only say that I don't regret anything. And it's fun. I love having my daughter. When I say regret spending that time with her.
Okay.
It was fun, obviously, having yes. It was fun though, having, I've always wanted a little girl, and so it's just really fun. And we still enjoy our time together.
I can imagine. I always say that our kids are our best medals.
Yes,
so, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, we have another really interesting question. And it's going to be made by Paula, and she's from the Real Grupo de Cultura de Covadonga, which is a really impressive sports center, which is in Gijón, a town nearby.
If you could talk to your younger self, the little girl who wanted to be a champion, what would you tell her now after everything you've been through?
Easy answer. Invest in Apple, invest in Amazon, invest in like what else? Invest in ChatGPT. Like, I'm not kidding. That's what I would tell myself. True story. And that's a sad answer, but it's the truth. And yeah, sorry.
Okay, so now we know where we have to invest. But then, Serena, outside tennis, you've built Serena Ventures, supporting women and underrepresented entrepreneurs. What's your motivation to choose projects to invest in support? Your story reminds us that true success is not just about breaking records. It's about breaking barriers. So the greatest of victories happen when we lift others along the way. Tell us how you managed to do this.
Well, I love investing, but I just love technology. And at some point, I started investing in different companies, and they were all early companies that we didn't see 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And I just love technology. I loved investing in how we live our lives now, because life every decade changes, and there are things that we do today that we'll never do again, or things that we did 20 years ago, they're obsolete. They don't exist anymore. And so I love investing in that. As I was investing, I realized that less than 2% of all VC money, and we're talking about trillions of dollars, went to women or went to people of color. And I thought that that was a shocking number. And I thought that was impossible, but it was possible. And so for me, I wanted to not only invest in women and underrepresented founders, but I also wanted to change and invest in who's writing the checks to people. Because if the same people are writing the same checks, they're always going to write the same checks to the same person. You know, they kind of invest in their friends or people that look like them. So when you change and the people who are writing the money and the investment checks, and you give it to women, they always invest in other women, or they invest in they invest in men too. They kind of even it out a little bit more. And so that's kind of how I wanted to attack the issue, and also wanted to, like you said, it's just bring awareness to it. And I don't think I can change and make that number go higher, but I can use my platform to talk about it, and I can use different areas and situations to say, this isn't right. Let's make a difference. And what are you doing? And so I love investing now in companies that are also great returns, but companies that are also making a huge difference in the world, and that are really changing, not only technology wise, but helping people or helping the environment. And so, yeah, that I think there is some sort of responsibility to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really great what you've been doing with women, and I can't agree more with the fact that we really need to empower women and give them the belief in themselves, to let them realize that they're able to make a difference. And as we come from, a few decades ago when this wasn't possible, I think it's great that people like you really sort of put it out in the limelight.
Thank you.
Okay, we've arrived at the end of set 2, so we've got to say that we won set 2, because if not, there would be no set 3.
What could I have done better? But I'm enjoying this, so I'm glad there's set 3.
We're going to start set 3. Now, you've said before that your greatest victories might not be behind you. They might be ahead of you, in the people you inspire. And I love that phrase, and I love that way of thinking. So in this final set, we'd love you to look towards the future. Now, your legacy and the next generation of dreamers who are ready to follow in your footsteps. So, Feliciano, you have the first question.
Yeah, my question now, Serena, is about tennis purely. How do you see tennis in 20 years? You witnessed tennis evolving so much in the last decade, or maybe more, maybe the last 20 years. So how do you see tennis in the future? Do you think the human factor is still going to be playing a big role there? Because now we have, a lot of technology, different things. What do you think about that?
It's hard to say. I see tennis making huge jumps. I feel like the players are going to be a lot stronger because of knowledge. Because of technology. I think with the addition of AI being involved in tennis, that players will be able to spot weaknesses a lot better. I think the matches might be a little faster because of that technology. I think the game will be different. Yeah, and when you think about how that's going to be integrated into the equipment, the rackets, the shoes, I don't know. I think the game will be completely different in 20 years. But I don't know how, but I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be just a lot more technical and a lot more technology involved. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Yeah, I think it'll be really exciting time to watch tennis.
Yeah, definitely exciting because in the last 20 years I've seen a big change. Tennis has changed significantly in the last 20 years. The physicality of the players, there's a lot of things that I think contributed to that significant change. But in 20 years, we don't know how it's going to be. That's why I wanted to know what were your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I think that it's just going to be a lot of more technology involved in tennis.
Probably, yeah.
And I think the power is going to go up because of the technology that they're going to put into the equipment, which means the game is going to probably be faster. Maybe we'll be serving and volleying again. You served and volleyed.
Yes.
Yes, I never came to the net. Maybe people will be serving and volleying, or who knows? Maybe we'll go back to that tennis.
Okay, that's a good answer. I love it.
So if technology is going to be involved, then we really need to invest in all this technology that you're saying.
Yes, but the good thing is sport is the one thing that technology can't change too much. It's just a little bit, or 15-20%, but it's not going to change the essence of the sport. So I do love that about sport, is that it's going to be something that's always going to be real. It's always going to be a great experience.
Yeah. And it's always going to imply, talent, but a great deal of effort. And that's really a great message also for the people behind it. If you don't put the work in, you're not going to get there. We have a question from Alba, and she's from a school here in Asturias called Corbera de Asturias.
How would you like to be your legacy now in a moment in you have lost tennis?
I always said when I played tennis that I would like for my legacy to be not necessarily what I did on the court, but how I was remembered off the court. And I think I want to continue that legacy. I feel like I did, really good in tennis. And I feel like I want my second career through investing to be even bigger than what I did in tennis in terms of making an impact on the companies that we choose to invest in, and how it impacts people's lives, and how it could impact environmental things, or how it could just change people through technology. So I think hopefully that will continue. Hopefully that'll continue to be my story.
That's really interesting. Well, you've built a legacy that goes far beyond trophies, as an athlete, as a businesswoman, and as a mother, obviously, as Olympia and your other daughter, who's not here at the moment. So when you think about the future, what kind of legacy do you hope that your daughter and the next generation will inherit from you?
I think just, hanging in there. Like I said a little bit earlier, just being able to overcome challenges, overcome downs, stay humble during the ups. I think that I like to believe that my humility is the one thing that I would like, in particular, my children to see, but all the kids here too, because it's so important to always to feel humble at moments. And so anyway, so that's kind of how I think about it.
Great. I'm sure that they will inherit all of these values that you're
We'll see.
speaking about. Yeah, I don't have much of a doubt. So your story reminds us that greatness is not something you keep. It's something that you share, something that you pass on to the rest. And I think this is really interesting. And that your true legacy will live on in every young person who dares to dream with courage and with conviction. So, okay, we're at the end of set 3, but we're 6-6. So now we need to go to match point.
Okay.
Now this is going to be a very intensive match point because
It's a tight match.
it's a very tight match. Yeah. I think the people in Oviedo are a little bit better than what we expected.
Yes, I think so too.
Absolutely. So before we say goodbye, we'd love to ask you something more personal about this moment. And also about being here in Oviedo. So Feliciano has the first
It's
question.
directly related to the award that you've been, you're going to be receiving tomorrow. What does it mean to you to receive the Princess of Asturias award, not just as an athlete, but as a person who inspired so many around the world?
Yeah. Wow. So to receive the Princess of Astoria award is an incredible honor. First of all, when I first heard about it, I thought that impossible. I was like, no way. Yeah. Because there's so many athletes, and so I was thinking, wow, this is such an honor. And all my friends in Spain texted me, literally everyone texted me, and I was like, wait, what's that? Because I got the news. They got the news before me. So I woke up to all these messages, and I was really, really, I just felt really honored. And I was like, I have to figure out a way to make sure I'm there. And what am I going to do? What am I going to wear? So, yeah, it just was, to receive this award is beyond my wildest dreams, really, to be honest. And I still kind of don't believe it, but I'm just super excited, and I cannot wait for tomorrow.
Everyone is very happy here in Oviedo, and honestly, I don't think there's a better representation of this award, Serena.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Everybody agrees with what Feliciano is saying, that you really you really deserve this award, and that we're really happy that you managed to get this award. Now, we're both members of the jury of the sports prize, and we spent 2 days discussing of who should get the award and so on. So we're really honored that you have this award, but at the same time, we also consider that we're elevating the bar all the time, and this is something that the award is merits, and we're really happy that you could get it. So, okay, you've told us about Asturias and about receiving this award. Now, I think you've had a very special connection with Spain. I mean, we have an incredible country, and I know that you've played the Mutua Madrid Open many times. Now, Feliciano is the director of this tournament, and it's a really great tournament. So what we'd like to know is, how would you describe your relationship with Spain, and what does Spain represent to you?
For me, every time I think about going to Spain, I think, oh, I'm going to have a relaxing time. It's so beautiful here. And in particular, because I spent more time in Madrid, and I love it. I always love it. I used to always stay across the street from a park, and I would just take walks and I'd stay in the park, and then there was the museum, and I always loved being in it. It was one of my favorite stops on the tour. Of course, I was able to win the tournament at least once. I don't know, twice. I lost count. I don't know. Yes, we'll say twice.
You won so many times everywhere in the world. It's normal that you forget about it.
Yes, I forgot. But
well, if you won 23 Grand Slams, and you have to remember all 23, then you have to remember all the other things that aren't Grand Slams as well.
But they're just as special. They really are,
course.
because you don't really win the Grand Slams unless you win the other tournaments. And I remember Madrid was very special for me because I was trying to win the French Open. I had only won the French Open once, and it was just like, how do I win here again? And so it all started with being able to take the win in Madrid, then going on to Rome, and then going on to win the French Open. But it was a huge stepping stone for me because I needed to start to conquer the clay again. I needed to get that belief on the clay again. So anyway, so it's not just Madrid. I was in Mallorca earlier this year, and I had a fantastic time. It was so beautiful. I'd never been there before, and I suddenly understood why everyone is in love with there, outside of Rafa. Why people still love it there. So I was like, now I understand why it's just so peaceful here. And so I've just been having a time in Europe this year. So it's been amazing. And I have a dog. His name is Christopher Chip Rafael Nadal.
Oh, Rafa.
Yes.
That's incredible. We didn't know this.
So lots of Spanish.
Serena has a dog called Rafael Nadal.
Yes.
So she has Nadal at home.
Yeah. He's 13 now. So, I've been a fan forever. So kind of special for me.
Yeah, well, Rafa is very special for us in Spain, as you can imagine.
Yes.
So are you. And Rafa has the Princess of Asturias
Yes.
award since many years ago.
Yes.
We're here now with your daughter Olympia is here. I told you I have an Olympia at home also. I think it's an incredible name. If Olympia came up to you in a couple of years' time and said, "Mom, I want to be a professional tennis player like you," how would you encourage her or not?
Yeah, it would be the best thing in the world to me. I mean, it's the best career to have, I think, in sport for women. I just think for many reasons, but you just get to play every day on a massive platform. You get to travel the world and you get to wear great outfits. So that checks every box for me. So yeah, it's a fan. I would be so honored. I'll be okay. What are we gonna do? Let's start. Let's do it. Let's be the best. Let's work hard. And obviously it takes a lot of work, but it's so fulfilling to have this career as a tennis player. And I always tell her that, I'm like, it's a lot of work, but in the end, you will never regret it.
Yeah, well, when you work on something that you love, it's as if you don't work. You just enjoy yourself every day. And
I definitely felt like it was work a lot of times.
Of course.
Did you?
I did as well.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. But there were some days where I was like, oh, why am I here again?
Yeah, but I guess it's better than going to the office to a job that you don't like. So
Yes.
what I mean is that, it's something you enjoy.
Yes.
Not 100% of the time. There's always days that...
But it's important to hear that, because sometimes people hear, oh, it's perfect. And that's not the case. I mean, you have hard days, you have good days, and, you just got to go through all the days. They're not always going to be perfect.
The overall part is incredible. We were just talking before we coming in the States that how fortunate we are. And we just realized, when we retire, because tennis is very demanding, but we've been very fortunate, I think. She was way more fortunate than myself because she won 23 Grand Slams, among many other titles. But I think the life of a tennis player or any other athletes, I think we can consider ourselves very fortunate.
Yeah, very fortunate.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also had my professional career, not in tennis, but in sailing. And quite honestly, to be able to have a childhood dream and to make this dream come true and learn on the process, because I think sport is an incredible school for life.
Yes.
And what you learn,
Yes.
you carry with you through the rest of your life. And this is something that it's a real privilege to be able to have done this and then to develop it and to put it back to the society like you're doing now with Serena Ventures and with all your programs. And this is an incredible privilege to be able to inspire so many people around the world, girls and also boys, of course. So yeah, I think that's really, really amazing. So Feliciano, do you have a last question for Serena?
Not really. I just want to thank Serena for coming to Spain. We're very happy that you managed to get this award. As I said before, I don't think there's a better representation of the award in you. You're representing the award in the best possible way. So welcome to Spain. I'm really looking forward to see you tomorrow at stage.
Thank you for having me. I'm such an honor to be here to receive this award, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I had a trophy.
We can't wait either. It's going to be
Award.
really special. I know that you're thinking it's going to be amazingly special,
Yes.
but I'm sure that tomorrow evening when we see you after receiving the award, you're going to tell us that it was completely above all your expectations.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyhow, Serena, thank you so much for your words. Thank you so much for your presence, for being here tonight, and for your example, because it's truly moved all of us that are here. You've reminded us that excellence, that humility, and purpose, all three of them can live together. And this is really important. And that's the spirit of the Princess of Asturias Awards. They're all about these three words of being great athletes, but also being great human beings like you are. So, ladies and gentlemen, she won the match point, Serena Williams.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.